what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 99, volume 5 of a special March Madness edition of Big Fan.
The ball is tipped, and Hank, there you are. You're running for your life, 'cause you're a shooting star. And all the years, no one knows just how hard you work, Hank. But now it shows that one shining moment, it's all on the line. In one shining moment, they're frozen in time.
Hank, it's here, baby.
Oh, that was so weird because you looked me in the eyes the entire time you were singing. That was so weird.
It is here, one shining moment, March Madness. As you say, I say at least 10 times a year, the best day of the year. The Thursday of March Madness, which starts tomorrow, Hank. March Madness starts tomorrow for us.
Tomorrow.
We go on our trips tomorrow. I do, and you go on Friday. The number one best day of the year for me. What are the other ones that you said that I've said are the best day of the year?
Easter,
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Flag Day,
President's Day.
July 4th, yeah, Earth Day.
All of them.
Yes. Well, anyway, this one really is number one.
Okay.
So as I just sang that song to you, you know, that's the Luther Vandross One Shining Moment. I have not missed that singing of that song, which means I've watched every national championship game for at least 40 years, I say, because I've seen Luther sing that a couple years. Jennifer Hudson sang it. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 year, I think Teddy Pendergrass might have been singing it a long time ago.
I like the Luther.
Luther is the classic, and that's the one we always go to. Hank, so we're excited. It's here. Right?
Yeah, it's here.
Have you done your bracket?
I have not.
Do you want to talk about the brackets before we jump into the
Sure. Our
the fun
producer's
stuff?
pulling up a bracket right now, so we'll have one in front of us. But I know you got one in front of you if you want to go ahead and go.
Yeah, so we won't spend much time on this, but the number one seeds, as everyone knows, in the East, UConn, in the West, Carolina, in the Midwest, Purdue, and in the South, Houston. Out of those four seeds, Hank, who is the one likely number one seed to get upset and not make it to the Final Four?
UNC. And I'm a UNC fan.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's dangerous. I think Baylor's dangerous. I think St. Mary's is dangerous. I just find like their bracket is tough, and I think they're good.
Yeah.
I just think that they got a real tough road. Like we talked about, I think UConn's got a tough road too, but they're really good.
Exactly.
My thing with Carolina, and I love Carolina, is I don't think the AC is strong enough to have got them prepared for this tournament. If that makes sense.
Sure. It kind of showed it last night with Virginia showing.
Yeah.
They got beat by 24 to
Yeah.
Colorado State.
Yeah, it's gross.
They scored 14 points in the first half, Hank.
Yeah, it's gross.
Oh,
yeah. So I just don't think the ACC has prepared any of these teams.
Yeah. So anyway, you've got Carolina going out first, number one seed. I've got Houston going out number one seed first.
They're not getting beaten this first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me where you think Carolina's going to get beaten, and we'll keep on going. So Carolina plays Wagner first. They get through. Then they would play the Mississippi State, Michigan State winner. Who goes there? They're right here.
Well, I think Carolina gets through that game.
Then they would play the winner, St. Mary's, Alabama.
I think that might be a tough. That might be a tough one, and certainly the 8 because I think Butler. Then
the next would be Baylor or Dayton or Arizona, Nevada. Okay, so you got them going out there. I got Carolina advancing through to the Final Four. Let's go look quickly at the East. I've got UConn moving forward to meet Iowa State in the Elite 8 to go to the Final Four. That's the 1 and 2 seeds. Let's move up here to the South. I mentioned I have Houston getting beat, and I have Houston getting beat relatively early. I think it's in it's in the Sweet 16. I've got them getting beat by Duke. Ooh. Even though Houston, I'm up here.
I said, woo.
Yeah, so you did say that about the ACC, and I agree. You know, it's not the toughest year for the ACC, but I just don't believe in Houston. But I have coming out of this division, I have NC State advancing to the Final Four, beating Houston in a rematch of the 83 championship in the Elite 8.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, got it?
You said Duke was beating Houston.
But State would meet down here.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Oh, scratch that. We're going Houston to the Elite Eight. State beats Houston in the Elite Eight.
You said Duke was going to beat him in the 16.
That's right. Scratch that. I think it'll be a close game. All right, let's go to Midwest, Hank. Purdue, the number 1 seed here. Who do you have coming out?
I think Purdue. I don't think Tennessee meets them though.
I don't either. Who do you like?
And our friend CJ Hines, he thinks they're too streaky. I kind of like Kansas.
Really?
Kind of do. I think that they're built for big game. If it weren't, I mean, I also, I think that it's going to be a tough one, but they're going to meet them before is TCU.
Okay.
I like TCU, but they're going to meet them in the 16.
Yeah, that'll be actually the second round.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's either going to be Kansas or Texas, I feel like.
My sleeper, Creighton. I've got Creighton coming all the way out of there, going to the Final Four. So my Final Four, UConn, Carolina, NC State, and Creighton, with NC State losing to Creighton, UConn beating Carolina, Creighton, UConn in the final. UConn gets it done, cuts nets. Who you got?
I think UConn's too good. I think UConn's going to be in that 4. I think, who did I say was going to be down here in this one? Baylor was going to be in this 4. I don't think Houston is going to be there. I think Kentucky is going to make a pretty decent run, and certainly not. I think they'll probably see win State in the second series. So I think Kentucky makes a pretty good run there, and then I was saying Kansas, but Texas or Kansas in the other one. I think that UConn ends up winning.
Cool. And last but not least, let's go through a couple sleepers, first-round sleepers. You really like Kentucky, and so does the world. I've got Oakland upsetting Kentucky in round 1. Round 1, big one. When I'll stay here because I've got a lot of upsets over here in the South. I've also got, James Madison over Wisconsin up here in the South. In the Midwest, I've got listen to these dogs I've got. I've got TCU, Utah State. That's not a big dog, but I've got McNeese State over Gonzaga. I've got Samford over Kansas. I've got Oregon over South Carolina. And let's move over here to the West for the upsets in round 1. I've got Charleston upsetting Alabama. I've got Grand Canyon upsetting St. Mary's.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've got Nevada upsetting Dayton. And then in the East, I think I've got all chalk. That's all. I got all chalk in the East. That's the only one I have chalk. Yeah. So, gosh.
Good.
It's right
exciting.
In front of us.
It's exciting.
Yes. So let's talk about our trips real quick. Oh, but before I move into our trips for March Madness, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this on the air, Hank. I just can't believe I'm going to do it, but I want to do it. You may have already heard this story.
Do it.
So I had this really great run last week. I watched NC State every game of their 5-game win.
Talk about how amazing to do it 5 games.
Unbelievable.
To play the way that they played 5 games. And as a Carolina fan, I respect that streak.
Sure.
And they played amazing against us.
It was it's something I can't describe. When you root for something for so long and it hadn't happened in 37 years and you see it all kind of coming together and it happens, amazing feeling. So anyway, we'll get back to that 5-day run in a second. But on day 2 of the run, I went to this place, City Walk Brewery, and a person I had not seen, she graduated with me since 92. I've probably seen her once or twice since then. Is talking to another friend of our, Hootie Bowman.
Yeah.
And Hootie was like, Chad, come over here. And I was like, hey, I'm not going to announce this person's name on the air. She's a real sweet girl. And she said, I wanted to tell you that I listened to your podcast. And I was like, great. And she was like, she said, I love Hank Heimer and what he brings to the show. And so I was sitting there and Hootie was like, dang, she said nothing about me. She said, I love Hank Heimer and what he brings to the show. And Hootie was like, well, what do you think about Chad? And she was like, well, you're kind of, this is in my face. I've not seen her.
What she said.
This is exactly.
Behind your back.
Exactly. And so I've seen her twice since 1992. She graduated with me. And she was like, well, you're kind of funny, but I love Hank. I'm like, oh, man. My God.
I love this woman. Thank you.
I can't believe I've told you this story. Now his head's even bigger.
Oh, I love it.
But anyway, it was a trip. So that kind of kicked off the night for, that was actually the Duke game, I think, day 3 of the NC State run. So they went through Louisville, Syracuse, Duke, Virginia, and then Carolina to wrap it all up. And man, what a week it was. I'm still exhausted. Man, think about how those players feel.
Oh, I can't believe. Carolina had a distinct advantage because of just playing time. Sure. All right, but they played amazing. They really did. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it really was. And before that week kicked off on Tuesday, and I'm sure you went to Hickory High.
Yep.
So tell me about it. We streamed it, and I watched it from home, but was it just exciting?
Yeah,
I
think that this team is a special team because they were blowing people away, and all year, even as good as Hickory was, they heard about Central Cabarrus. Everybody was talking about they're the Goliath, right? Regardless how good you are, you're not going to get past that Goliath. Well, our team didn't believe that. Our coach didn't believe that. Our fans didn't believe that. And so when we got to Winston and started playing, they've been beating people by 20 to 60 points.
Right.
At halftime, we were down 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were like, man, we got kind of punched in the mouth a little bit, right? And it was about as high a level of high school basketball you could watch.
Completely agree.
And it was amazing because you're going to have things in a game that dictate, the outcome. And it were just few things. A free throw here or there, a rebound here or there, a drop shot, a called foul.
Right.
And we were right back in that game. Mm-hmm. But you cannot downplay the effort that Hickory gave. And it was it's pretty special to get that far. And Daniel Willis coached the heck out of those boys.
It was amazing. The interesting thing on television, it looked like the level was so high. It didn't look like high school basketball. It looked like a college basketball game. It was unbelievable. The other thing, both teams, they were relentless. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They would not give up.
Yes.
Like one would take a body blow and then someone, you know what I'm saying? There was punch after punch and the other one would just keep fighting.
Yes.
Unreal.
Yeah. And each dunk meant something. Each, every 3-pointer meant something. And there were a lot of points of the game, but did you see my man, John Holbrook's pick at half court?
No. Oh, I did.
He set a screen at half court,
and that guy went. Boo! Yes, I saw that.
It was like hitting a brick wall. Yeah. When he hit that, everybody in the place was like, "Oh, yes. You should have been watching where you were going."
Yes, it was a massive pick.
It was, but it was great. And the amount of fans you saw at the game before. Mm-hmm. When they had to turn people away. When's the last time they had to turn people away?
Sure.
But when the amount of fans that came down to watch them, my father-in-law and went to Hickory High. He went down with a car full of his buddies he went to high school with.
How cool.
And, it was just really cool to see all that support.
Yep. Jennifer went with a big group of girls, and behind her were CJ Hines and his family, who lives in Winston now. Yep. So it was great. And she said she saw you and Michael from across the way. And then, anyway, every time she turned her head, she saw somebody else that she knew. So she said it was a great turnout.
It was.
Congratulations to the Hickory High School basketball team, as well as the ladies. They didn't make it quite as far, but they made it to the tournament, so good job to both teams there for sure. All right, Hank, let's go back to last week, the NC State run, and not to talk about the NC State run, but let's just talk about, the events. So it's Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. Watching the streaming the game, NC State had gotten their win. We watched the Hickory High School streaming at a buddy's house. Day one, probably get back to the crib about 11. Jennifer's come back to the crib after the game, same time. Wednesday, that's the Duke game. City Walk, meet a couple State fans. A couple State fans turned into about 30 people, all like there to think it's over. The season's over. Right. Let's get together for the last time.
Right.
They get the dub. I'm sorry, that was the Syracuse game. I'm sorry, my bad. Win the Syracuse game, City Walk. So the next day, it's round 3 against Duke. Couple other people are calling like, are we going to get together to watch this? And I was like, sure, why not? So we get together at a friend's house. Bingo. They get a win.
Did you need that much encouragement?
Not very, very true. I really did not.
You were making the phone call.
I probably was sending the text out. So then game 4, Virginia. Hey, we had good luck at the City Walk for the Tuesday game. Everybody come back up here. Let's run it back again, right? So we watched the Carolina game there as first and then watched part of that one. And then Jennifer and Lucy Rose were at a dance function. They had left about that time.
Oh,
and so
I see where this is headed.
We took it back to the crib, rolled out the 65 inches of viewing pleasure onto the patio. It has cobwebs on it. It's not been rolled out in a long time.
Yeah.
Hank. And made a fire out there like the good old days.
Yep.
And the people from the neighborhood just started popping by like, God, I miss this old place because we haven't done it forever.
Yeah.
So we did that and celebrated just fabulously. And then the next day was Saturday. Very groggy.
Sleepy.
wipe the cobwebs out, get up, play a little golf, and then another friend decides he wants to have the party that night. He's a Carolina guy, but invited a bunch of state people over. And magic happened,
Magic happened.
What a week.
I love it how you started this story with, this is not about the state, anything about the state. And it was all about the state win. It was nothing but the state
It was
win.
just about how people something special was brewing. Like,
Sure.
normally state fans don't get together. It's
Why
random.
would you celebrate?
Exactly.
Like, why would
37
state
years
fans
of
celebrate
horribleness.
any athletic event?
Fair. It's fair. But for some reason, we all felt like we needed to be a part of this. And then, sure enough, bump, the crowd started growing, and it was just a magical week for sure.
I think I did get one invite to one of those things.
Yeah, I think I told
City
you to
Walk.
City Walk.
Yeah.
So if you would have been at the City Walk, then you would have got invited to the next one, which turned into the next one, which it turned into the next one.
Well, I'm glad I stayed away. Is what I'm glad for.
I know you are. So, Hank, let's roll into the festivities that begin tomorrow. I'm leaving Thursday. We'll start with your trip through Friday.
We're leaving Friday.
Yes.
Yes. Well, some guys are going up Thursday. So what we're doing is, March Madness, high school buddies get together. We go up to the Mountain House, and we just kind of stay around there. It's kind of near West Jefferson, so we might pop into West Jeff and watch a game there, whatever. It's near the river, but the river's going to be freezing. It's supposed to be raining. I foresee a lot of house time hanging around the house. But
board games, maybe board games.
But some of the guys are going up Thursday night. Me and 3 other guys are going to leave Friday morning early, drop kids off at school, get up there, because we've got the normal suspects that are going up there, but we've had 2 or 3 guys that we haven't seen. One of them we haven't seen since graduation.
It's unbelievable.
And so he's going to be up there. And so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we want to get up there and make sure we have enough time to spend with one another.
Do you think when he gets back into the mix, he'll be like, oh my God, get me out of here? Or will he say, oh my God, I missed y'all?
Oh, come on. He's glad to be back. You know us. But I do feel like it's funny because we did this whole text chain together, all of us. And, saying stuff from high school and everything else. And he immediately was like, this is going to be a lot of fun. This feels right. It feels like high school.
I love it.
So we're going to do that. And then, all of us are responsible for different meals. My friend who we're going up to his mountain house, it was, blowout, let's go do it. Now all of a sudden we're getting text message with like, you're taking care of meals on Friday. Hey, you're the breakfast guy on Saturday. Hey, don't worry about the Bloody Mary bar. Timmy's got it.
Right.
Right. We've got a bunch of texts going on. So we're just going to leave him the mess.
There you go.
The mess on Sunday, because I think we're all going to have to get up pretty early, get out of there,
Yeah.
and head back.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about the mountain trip compared to the beach trip. The drive home on Sunday is much less painful because it's a lot shorter, right?
Yeah. Tell me about yours. You leave early tomorrow.
Tomorrow. We're leaving early in the morning tomorrow. One of the guys, actually, who's on the trip with us said, what are the chances that we can leave tonight? Like, he wanted to go down tonight, and, which is a great idea. Yeah, but we can't.
I can't add that night, dude.
Yeah, there's no way, because then you wouldn't even make it to the end. You wouldn't make it till Saturday.
You'd be dead.
You'd be close to dead or in an urgent care somewhere. So we said no to that, but we're leaving 8. First pickup is at 8. I get picked up at 8:30, right? And then this is our standard protocol. We go to Gastonia. Well, at least we make it to Gastonia. Leave Hickory. Everybody's excited, and we're talking about all the things that we're going to do and all the memories of the things we've done in the past. And so we hit this little store right outside Gastonia, the QT.
Yep.
I normally roll in, get everybody lottery tickets so we can just scratch them all the way down. We talk about while we're scratching,
what we're gonna do.
when we win this money, we've done this a million times. We're never coming home, or we'll fly from Myrtle Beach to Las Vegas, blah, blah, blah. And then I stock up on my Slim Jims. I got to have plenty of Slim Jims, Yep. So we get through there, and we're talking, and then probably the next stop is about an hour and a half down the road. So now we're talking about maybe, let's say it's 10:30. Coach. Coach. You know what that sound is?
I think it sounds like a defense move on a video game, but I'm guessing it's a beverage that you're opening.
It's not. How do you get? It's coach. So that normally happens about 10:30 or 11, and then we take that on down to make it to Cherry Grove.
Okay.
And tomorrow is supposed to be gorgeous.
It's supposed to be really pretty.
Really beautiful.
You guys expecting rain too?
From Friday to Saturday, relentless rain.
Yeah.
Up to like 4 inches of rain.
Do you know what we ought to do? We ought to wait till about 4 o'clock on Friday or Saturday and FaceTime each other and just see what kind of havoc is going on.
That sounds like a
Keep
great
your phone on you.
I will have it on, yes. This trip, because and I'll tell you a little bit about our trip, Hank. You know this, but this has been going on for 28 years roughly. And so it started as just our high school friends. And then as time went on, you guys started joining us on the trip. You'd have your own place. And so your group of high school friends, my group, and my brother's group would even go on the same trip.
Yeah,
I mean,
amazing.
It was crazy. 30s plus dudes together from Hickory High all together at Cherry Grove on the same weekend. But over time, now we've got people in our group who have college tours planned this week, so they can't go. Another group another guy has very young kids, 6 years old. They plan their spring break because their kids are out of school, so they got spring break trip. We've got another fella who's been on the trip for us almost every year. His mother-in-law is turning 80. They've got a surprise birthday party. So anyway, there's
life happens.
It happens. You can't have everybody there every year, but the thing is, at least one of us has been there throughout the years to keep the party going, right? And so we're going to continue the tradition, and it should be lovely. So in their spot, a couple other of my college buddies, they have been down there at the same time too. We just decided to join forces, so they'll be in our house. So we'll have 8 to 9 strong. So it'll be really good. And y'all are going to have like 15 strong.
15.
Holy
last time we did this last year, we had a lot of guys too. And it was great because I remember our good friend Michael Banks and I were in the kitchen. And there were people in the kitchen, in the dining area, in the watching part of the game. I mean, people were everywhere. And it was so loud. Like people were like laughing and screaming and like, fake punching each other and everything. And I was like, Michael, come here. And so I look at him, I was like, just close your eyes and listen to all the talk that's going on right now. And it was like people talking trash to one another, and he just started laughing. Closed his eyes and started laughing. It was great.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
That is so wonderful. Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of that this weekend too, Hank. So you guys have a good time. I know we will as well.
Yep.
And don't forget to call us about 5 o'clock on FaceTime Friday. Let's see what kind of shape we're in. Exactly. All right. So Hank, everybody's favorite segment last year. Well, top 5 for sure. I did hear a really good report on the Super Bowl podcast we did a couple months, or I guess it was about a month and a half ago. The Charlie Zag story. I mean, it's becoming legendary. I was playing tennis the other day, and I wasn't even on the same tennis court. They were talking about that story. I mean, so funny, And real quick on that, the story about Super Bowl, one of our friends, Charlie Zag, who's not a big sports guy, missed the Super Bowl because he was at Brokeback Mountain. That never gets old. And it's the truth. It's reality. Anyway.
The details that I have are it makes it even better.
Unbelievable. So that was one of the top podcasts from the last 6 months. But, from the last year, one of our most well-renowned podcasts was Starch Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a lot of people commented how wonderful they thought Starch Madness was, and we're not going to go through it this year because we're going to do a little bit of flavor, add a little flavor this year. Last year's final two the final two was an up-and-coming Scallop Potatoes team. Do you remember them?
I do.
I mean, they came out of nowhere.
They did.
They broke into the dance. Nobody even thought they'd get a bid.
Yeah.
And they upset the number 1 seed, and then they knocked down an 8 seed, and then before you know it,
they're in
the finals, staring down
McDonald's fries.
the number 1 seed, McDonald's fry. And Hank,
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
it was such a close battle, but in the end, McDonald's Fry pulled out a squeaker. But everybody left with a lot of respect for Scallop Potatoes. A lot of respect.
I know.
As did I. I won't lie to you. After the podcast aired, we went out and we bought Scallop Potatoes and made them. And yes,
they're delicious.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful. Delicious. So great job last year on the Starch Madness. This year, we're going to just switch it up a little bit. And this one, I couldn't find a word that rhymed with March or starch, but what this one is going to be called is Sitcom Madness, Hank, all right? And so what I've done is I've seeded the top 16 sitcoms through our years.
Okay.
So the ones that I didn't really see would be like the I Love Lucy's.
Yeah.
Or All in the Family.
Sure.
You know, the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
Which some would classify as a top 16, but to us, we never really
Wasn't
watched
there.
them. So I will give you a couple of the seeds that were there that didn't make it this time, but were right on the bubble. I'm talking about knocking on the door, right? One that was so close, and the only reason it was so close is because we talk about this one all the time, because the dude's room was so cool. With silver spoons.
Yeah, Ricky Schroeder.
Ricky Schroeder's room, and the den was so cool.
Yeah.
So it made almost just because of the environment. The show probably, if you watched it right now, would be so terrible.
Yeah.
Yes. So that one. Another one that didn't make it was like the Jeffersons. I thought that was a little bit out of our time. What's happening? Happy Days, that kind of genre. They didn't quite make the cut, but they were right there.
Yeah.
If we had maybe a 32 field or 64, they would make it.
Right.
There was also a couple that classified more like as a drama sitcom, like Wonder Years. I don't know if you remember
I loved Wonder Years.
Wonder Years was one of my favorite shows of all time. It just didn't make the cut because it was more drama oriented. Okay. So that's kind of how I created this list. So I'm going to start with the 16. I'm going to start with the matchups, and then I'll tell you who's fighting each or playing each other, and you tell me who makes it to the final.
Easy enough.
And the number 1 seed, Sitcom Madness, going up against the 16th seed, Seinfeld, number 1 seed,
Absolutely.
right? No doubt, no brainer. Going up against the Golden Girls. Okay,
Those old ladies don't stand a chance.
Yes, and for some reason I've left off a couple here, but I'll let you fill it in. All right, number 2, Friends, not my favorite, but it's pop culture-ish. Going up against blank. Give me a 15. I cannot believe I left this blank. I can fill it in real quick.
A 15 seed on that.
A 15 seed.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we have Cheers probably is in there. We've got In Living Color.
We'll put it in. That's not really a sitcom, but we'll put it in there. So we'll go In Living Color. Next, we have a 3 seed Cheers against a 14 seed Parks and Rec. Okay. Cheers versus Parks and Rec. We've got a 4th
tough one right there.
Tough 4th seed The Simpsons versus 13 seed King of Queens. Okay. We're going up to 5 seed against 12 seed. I know what your answer will be. 5 Cosby Show, 12 Family Guy.
Gosh.
So now we have 6, The Office United States, 11, The Office UK, okay? And then down here at the bottom of the bracket, number 7, Modern Family versus 10, South Park, and number 8, Curb Your Enthusiasm against 9, Different Strokes. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm prepared.
All right, we'll breeze through. I'm gonna mark them down so we know who we're going against. All right. Seinfeld beats the Golden Girls in a romping, right?
Yes.
Beats them by 40.
Yes.
Beats them by 40. Then we'll go down here to this other bracket. It was Friends against In Living Color.
I'm with you. I wasn't a huge Friends guy.
Yeah.
But I think it wins that matchup.
They would advance. Vegas had that number set probably by Friends by 17. I think they won by 10. It was closer. It's closer than the experts thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Down here in the bracket, down here in the South, Cheers versus Parks and Rec. Really close battle.
Really close.
Really close.
I think you got to go Cheers just off of history alone. I think Parks and Rec was a wittier comedy.
Me too.
But you got to go with Cheers.
Cheers is classic.
Classic.
All right. Down here, we're down in the South Midwest. The Simpsons 4 seed versus King of Queens.
The Simpsons.
See, I would switch that, but this is your bracket. The Simpsons. Bingo.
Without a doubt for me.
Got it. Understand. Now we're going back up. We're at the 5 seed versus the 12. Cosby Show versus Family Guy. Of course, for you.
Family Guy steamrolls them.
Okay.
Although we learned a lot in life.
We certainly did.
With the Cosby Show.
What was your favorite Cosby Show episode? Not to put you on the spot, but I would know which mine. I got 2, actually.
I can't even think of one.
I got the one when Rudy's lip singing, "Baby," the Ray Charles.
That's a baby.
And then when Lisa Bonet Denise, she tries to make Theo the old Garden Gatreo shirt. I don't know. And she tailored it, and the collar, one collar was huge. Oh my God, it's classic. That's Jennifer's favorite one ever.
That's funny.
All right, so Family Guy advances. Now we have the Office US versus Office UK.
I can't even say that it's fair or not fair, but I love The Office US, and I did not spend as much time on the UK, but I'm going to take the US.
Bingo. Me too. I back in the day before streaming was streaming, where you would on Netflix would send you DVDs. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Well, we had a New Year's that we spent with the Sparks family in where we're Hilton Head, Bluffton, and it rained the whole time we were there. The kids were little. I'm talking about little, and we watched every DVD of The Office UK, so it holds a special place. But The Office US better to me too. All right, let's go down here. We're now going to Modern Family 7 seed versus South Park 10 seed.
Modern Family.
My choice as well. That show has been syndicated, and it's on every day, every night, every hour, it seems. So I've seen them all, and they're all so good. All right, 8 seed versus 9 seed. We've got Curb Your Enthusiasm against what you talking about, Willis, Different Strokes.
Yeah. Now, see, there's something near and dear to my heart with Different Strokes, but you cannot get by Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm is going to be a problem for everybody else.
I think, and as an 8 seed,
yeah, it's going to be a problem.
They're making some noise.
They're going to be a problem.
So we're going Curb. All right, Hank. So that leads us to our next bracket. All right. The 1 seed, how are you going to do this? 1 seed versus the 12 seed. 2 of your favorite sitcoms of all time, Seinfeld versus Family Guy. Everybody was kind of upset. They thought Family Guy got a low seed. They thought they should have been much higher. Yeah. But here they are now to make it to the Final Four. Seinfeld versus Family Guy.
Seinfeld's going to take that one.
Seinfeld will win the East. Yes. Okay? Now let's move over here to where are we here? We'll call this the West. So, Friends, the number 2 seed still alive, going up against number 6 seed, The Office US.
The Office US.
Wow.
Takes them
down in a close match.
Yeah,
close match. But The Office US wins, so they have advanced to the Final Four.
See how many women we just made mad right there?
They'll probably turn the podcast off, Hank. Thanks to you 4 listeners. Sorry, we're down to 3. All right, Hank, now we're going down to the Midwest, okay? No, we're in the South. We're going Modern Family, the 7 seed, versus Cheers, a solid Cheers team, a solid Cheers team, 3 seed.
I'm going to go with Modern Family. Wow. Do you know why I'm doing this?
Tell me.
Is that you cannot beat good writing. And these sitcoms are so much better, so much wittier, right? Now, it may be that when I was 10,
that's right,
I didn't appreciate it.
I think that has a lot to do with it, but yes, continue.
I was very witty when I was 10. All right? Let's be perfectly honest here. So I'm going to go with Modern Family.
Got it. So before we leave Cheers, because you were young, I was young, Cheers, but favorite Cheers character, you had Norm, and then you had the postman, and then you had Woody behind the bar, you had Samantha, you had the main bartender, I can't remember his name. Ted Danson.
The lady with the big
Rita, Marina, whatever her name was, yes, Carla or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you even had the bald head dude, Professor Frasier, and his wife got into the show. So do you have one overall character that you like the most?
It's definitely Norm.
Norm? I knew you were going to say
definitely Norm. That guy used to come in there like he owned the place. Yes. I loved it.
I really liked Woody Harrelson because he was so dumb, but I thought everything he said was funny. So anyway, Cheers. Great run.
Great run.
But, I'm sorry, we're going to have to say goodbye to you. And then the other seed here to win the Midwest, we have Curb has already advanced. Now we need The Simpsons. No, we already done that one.
Simpsons
the Simpsons versus Curb.
Yeah. So, it's The Simpsons paved the way for the show that I love the most, Family Guy. That got beat by Seinfeld. So I have it in my heart for them. But Larry David, he is funny. So Curb is going to win that one.
Bingo, Curb. I would take them too. So, a real interesting tidbit of info about Curb, in our studio here, there's a guy that does the podcast, John Reap. He was in 2 weeks ago's episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, so we share the studio, so we got a little Curb in us right now. So anyway, Hank, Final Four. Seinfeld is going to match up against
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Interesting. Larry David, writer of both.
And Seinfeld.
Yeah, so I can understand why you would like both of them. Then in the other bracket, we've got The Office US versus Modern Family. So let's start here with Seinfeld, Curb.
In Star Wars, where Luke goes against his father and he beats his father, and that's kind of Curb as the younger person going against his father of the Seinfeld. This time the father wins. It is not like Star Wars.
Well done.
Seinfeld wins this matchup, although it's tight.
Yes.
And it is tight.
Maybe like a last second
it's a
3-pointer.
buzzer beater. This was the tournament right here for me.
Wow.
That was the tournament.
Seinfeld advances to the final game. And so that would be Jerry, I am your father. No, it would be Larry, I am your father. Larry, I am your father.
Yes, that's exactly
okay,
right.
fair. Even though Larry is older and wrote both shows, but in this situation you described, Larry, I am your father. Okay, last match before the final here. We've got Office US versus Modern Family, which is very funny because those two shows, I don't know, their timing is very similar. You know what I'm saying?
Very.
Both they came out virtually at the same time. They were on different nights, but they were must-watch TV.
The characters, they had such special characters that you would be like, you were either like rooting for him, you didn't like her, or you did whatever. So this is as tight
as
a
close as it can
matchup
be.
as it gets.
Absolutely.
Right? As tight as it gets. And I got to tell you, I'm going to have to go to US.
Wow.
Office US.
Unbelievable choice. But I would agree with you. I would give it to Office US over Modern Family. To me, even though toward the latter stages of both shows, they started to suffer a little bit. Some of the plots or whatever were a little off, but still funny to me. I would lean Office US too. Good job, Hank. So do you remember?
Sophia on that show was almost reason alone to
view. To must view. The worst actor, and I hate to say this about a little kid, on Modern Family was the little adopted girl. As she grew, her acting skills diminished. I mean, by the time the show was over,
with puberty, diminished.
She was so cute. And then as she got older, and she wasn't an actress, and so like they give her a line, you can almost sometimes see her look at the camera, not intentionally, like because sometimes you look at the camera in that show, like she would accidentally look at the camera, like, come on, you're an actress, you can't do this.
Let's pull it together.
You know how I really liked? I liked Manny. A lot of people did not like Manny. I thought Manny was hilarious. As he got older, not as funny, but when he was a little Manny, great.
Little Manny's a good Manny.
Yeah, and how about the son? I can't remember his name. The son, what's his name?
On Modern Family?
Yes.
I don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, not Manny, the other Manny. Anyway, I thought he was pretty funny too. So anyway, the Office US advances over Modern Family to meet Seinfeld in the final. And Hank, let's wrap the 2024 version of Sitcom Madness up with your new champ. It shall be
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld cuts down the nets.
One seed wins it.
Number one seed
wins it.
Kind of like UConn. Seinfeld was the huge favorite monster favorite throughout the entire tournament, and they cut down the nets. I kind of thought it would go this way. For you, congratulations, and I would agree. Seinfeld would probably get my vote, even though Curb might have upset Seinfeld in my book. But good job. This is your bracket, not mine.
Thank you.
Yes, way to go, Hank. Way to go. All right, so do you like Sitcom Madness versus Starch Madness? Which one did you like better?
Food always excites me. So I like Starch Madness because it really it made me think about, like you were saying, the scalloped potato. I never would have thought. And then when I was in the middle of the tournament, I thought, I can't believe how much I like scalloped potatoes.
This team's got a chance. This team's got a chance.
And so I got to tell you, I like Starch Madness. Hopefully we can revisit later on down the road. But
I love it.
The Sitcom Madness was good. Yeah,
well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope our listeners enjoyed as well. Hank, I think it's almost time to get out of here today, unless you've got anything else going on. Anything happening baseball-wise?
Grandview Middle School has started their season.
Wonderful.
Okay, we have 3 games in the books.
Yes.
We are 0-3.
Okay.
And good news is we scored our first run last game.
Congratulations.
So we are just learning lessons.
Learning to fly.
Yeah, learning lessons and having fun. So I mean,
that's all that matters.
For me, it's fun because it's like pure baseball. We play different levels as Harris has grown up and me playing, but this is, you got kids that have never played before,
right?
And you got kids that had played. And so it really is kind of like, hey, when a kid makes a catch, and that's kind of the thing. It's like if a kid makes a catch that wouldn't have been spectacular in summer ball or whatever, to see them light up, to see them get a hit, it's pretty cool. Regardless of the outcome, it's pretty cool.
Right on. Well, that's
How
great.
about you? Dance, soccer,
Oh,
everything?
Yeah. So Lucy Rose last weekend they performed in Albemarle, right? And they're going to Asheville this week. But she finished 4th overall, and she's a freshman. She's competing against the seniors. 4th overall. Her team dance finished 1st overall. Another one took 3rd place. She came home with all these medals. So impressive. It's so awesome. Her team was spectacular. And then they played St. Stephen's yesterday at St. Stephen's and beat them on St. Stephen's turf 2-0.
Is she playing varsity?
She's JV.
JV, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Varsity girls won 1-0.
They won 1-0.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so good day overall for the Hickory High School Lady Red Tornado soccer team. But anyway, she's just enjoying it thoroughly. Livia's doing so good at school too. I don't know if I told you or not, but her roommate moved out.
Okay.
So she's solo in the room.
That's kind of cool.
Just kind of exactly the way she wanted it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, her roommate took an RA job I think it's the same dorm, but a different hall.
Right.
And so Livia's pretty happy.
Pretty
the
excited.
Whole space to herself, and so it's going really well.
And now she is living in a different dorm next year. That's for her
friends
her
that she's
major,
met.
right?
Well, no, it's her friends that she's met. They're actually off campus. It's a house, and they've all got their own rooms. So it's,
pretty sweet.
It's going to be cool. Did you ever live in a house off campus?
I did.
What year?
My junior and senior year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lived it was more of a townhouse, but we were off campus junior and senior year. And 2 of the best years of my life.
Yeah.
I am not going to lie.
Yeah, that's a pretty special time.
Finally kind of felt, even though the dorm experience was wonderful, I would never take that back, for a day in my life. I felt more independent when I was in that townhouse my junior year.
Right.
I can do this stuff on my own.
Yeah.
I can actually do it.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of confidence.
Yeah, those
that way.
first 2 years, you're looking for the connections with those people in your hallway,
Right.
And you're looking for energy, excitement, all that stuff, accountability
Sure.
to do homework and everything. By your junior and senior year, you're all grown up. Yeah. I'm sure you were a heck of a scholar those 2 years.
Absolutely, sir. Dean's List.
Here we go.
Dean's List.
Here we go.
All right, Hank, well, it's been great talking to you today on the Big Fan March Madness edition. Don't forget, too, there's also a wonderful podcast to listen to on the Mesh Network. We're staring at one of them right now, the John Reap Show, right? And he's still pushing that hot sauce.
I had some this weekend. It's
Did
delicious.
You? Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
So y'all check it out if you can. Buy it at I guess you buy it online, local grocery stores, all that good stuff. And there's other fantastic shows on the Mesh. Y'all please check out. Moose, you want to say something?
You can find that hot sauce on johnreap.com.
Find that hot sauce on johnreap.com. Very good. And with that being said, Hank, it's really about 12, 14 hours until we shove off.
Lift off.
Lift off is right in front of us. Here's some things that I've decided to pack.
Chad bag.
Chad bag for sure. Chad bag is going to be cold. It's going to be and rainy. So a couple sweatshirts, a couple hoodies that I know that you like, a couple pairs of jeans. Steven was talking about wanting to have some marsh relays. So he said, bring some aqua socks. He wants to literally 100-yard dash through the marsh.
Okay.
We'll see if that goes down. A couple hats. And then, I guess that's standard. Poker chips, couple beverages. I always bring my sleeping bag just in case.
How about did you bring your sleeping bag because the last time that we were down there and you stayed at Davies, you had a washcloth to sleep with and it was cold on the floor?
They set the air condition for 60 degrees. I had no towels. I had my shirt off.
You had a doormat?
And a door. And I said, y'all, do you have anything that I could cover up with? Tucker threw me a washcloth. It covered my shoulder, one part of my shoulder, and that was it. I don't know even how I slept, Hank. But anyway,
I do.
I made it through that night. But anyway, no washcloths here. I will have my trusty sleeping bag, and can't wait. 2 weeks, we'll tell our listeners about our lovely adventures, and hopefully, we're talking about Tar Heels and State meeting in the Final Four. So let's see how it goes down. Thank you, Hank. Good to see you. Thank you, Moose. Thank you to our listeners. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.